today is career day, and we're going to be going
I am great.
down to his field room.
Yeah. Hey, how y'all doing? Good. Oh, that was so weak. Come on. How y'all doing today? I need energy. I need energy. Okay, so just to introduce myself really quick, my name is Tanisha Roundtree. I am the owner of Treehouse Cleaning, which is a residential and commercial cleaning company. Simply put, we clean toilets both in your homes and in your businesses, okay? So that's what I do. Give you a little history on how my business got started. It got started out of necessity. And this is going to roll into the conversations that I'm going to have with you. I remember not too long ago, and my kids are here with me, that we were basically scraping change out of the back of the couch and in the bottom of my purse for change just to buy discount bread. You know what discount bread is? The old stuff that nobody really wants. Isn't that crazy? It's kind of gross too. But we would just scrape and make change. I had lost my job, and it's just my children and I. So it was a struggle. Life was a struggle. And so until one fateful day, I talked to my mom, and she said, "Hey, Tanisha, have you ever thought about starting a cleaning business?" Now, to give you an idea of where I began, prior to this, I was in marketing and sales, meaning that I was with the big guys, you know, wearing the suits, talking to CEOs and all of that stuff, but I had lost my job. And I could not, as a single parent, as a mom that's taking care of my 4 children, get back into that corporate life. And so again, I talked to my mom, and she said, you know, have you thought about starting a cleaning business? And I remember me telling her, and we laughed about it now, I said, honey, I wear suits. I don't clean toilets. And the most important thing she told me was to humble yourself. Everybody say, stay humble.
Yes. Stay humble.
Yes. That was not my biggest gift, trust me. It is now. And so with that being said, I tried over and over again to get into that big life, and I just could not make it happen. So I started the cleaning business. And little bit by little bit, my business started growing. Over time, I've won several awards, had some accolades, and now I can consider myself a successful business owner. But it wasn't by accident. It was not by circumstances. Who here, before I get started, who thinks they're a winner? Raise your hand if you think you're a winner. Everybody hand should be up.
Exactly.
Everybody hand. Everybody. I'm gonna wait, I'm patient. Not really. But I'll be patient today. Okay, that's not my strongest suit either. All right. Everybody in here, you put your head down. Everybody in here is a winner. Do you know why you're a winner?
In your heart.
That's good.
To learn.
To learn, yeah. Why else? Anybody else? Why are you a winner?
When. Because whatever you try.
Because whatever you try, yes. You are a winner. Simply stated. It is real easy because you're here. Because out of the billions and billions and billions of people that are here and were here long before, you are the only you there is.
And that happens in one day. So if you were to work as a concert technician or event manager, this is what you would do every day. You would build this stuff and take it down, plan it, build it, and take it down.
You can pay good for it.
So that's what the stage looks like when it's done. What is that? Yes, you get paid well enough to make a living, own a house, have a car, eat food. So this that we see right here is what y'all saw being built in that video. So what do you need to know? There's 3 big components of a concert. Yes, yes. You gotta have sound, lights, and equipment. So let's start with sound. What's that?
A DJ board.
Not quite a DJ board. It's a mixing board. So each one of these channels is one set of sounds. There's 32 over here and another 24 over there. Each one of these knobs controls a part of the sound.
But it's like microphone.
So you can have microphones running into each of these channels. So if you had a band, it might be the first two are the singer, guitar, bass guitar, drums, all the different drums in a microphone. So if you like sound, this is what you do. You sit at the front of the concert and you manage it all. Now while a concert's happening, someone is sitting at one of these boards, fiddling knobs, twisting things to make sure it sounds good. Who here has been at a concert and had the sound cut out suddenly? You know why that was?
Because nobody was in there.
Well, it's because the person who was sitting there did a bad job. Because when you're sitting up here, you have total control. If you press the wrong button, all the sound goes away instantly. So this is a pretty high stress job, and you got to be there for about 3 or 4 hours, making sure the guitar's not too loud, making sure the vocalist isn't singing too close to the microphone. There's a lot of stuff that goes on here, and part of it, Diego, part of running this is knowing how to set up your signals. So I'm just going to show you the surface level of one of the pieces of information you need to know. So this is called signal processing, and there's going to be 3 sounds. Pink noise and brown noise. You play these sounds to make sure you know what types of settings you need on your giant board. So if you're interested in the way sound works, then the soundboard is for you. You got to understand frequencies, you got to understand hertz, you got to understand sound waves and physics. This stuff is really cool if you know how to do it. This all seems kind of weird right now, I understand. But I just want to give you an introduction into the idea of sound. Yes, Chuck, please.
But it's still the sound. It's like where like somebody. Are you gonna show us some sound? Like Jay sound.
What's your question?
Are you gonna do sound?
There was just sound. All right. This is another picture of me setting up a concert. That's me in the middle. So you have the truss, you hang it on these giant towers, you got speakers all around, we're building stages out here. Just to let you know, I actually did this, I'm not lying to y'all. I promise this was my job.
I know what you did that for.
This is in California, this is in San Diego right here.
I know
This is where I did all that stuff.
So you from Cali?
I'm from Atlanta, but I moved to Cali for a while, and I went to school there and I worked there. And now I'm back in New York. Lights. This is a lighting board. Smaller than the soundboard. It's got more screens. So lighting design is different than sound. The sound designer, the sound engineer, their job is to make the band sound good. The lighting designer is much more of an artist. You get to make the light show. Who has ever seen a concert that's got a crazy light show? Someone has to make every single light do every single movement. Someone's up there planning them all, how these 10 lights sweep over here, these go over there, these turn on when this beat happens. So I just want to show you kind of an idea of what you can do with lights. Also, it's hard work. That's me up here. It's sweaty. So we're not going to watch the whole video, but here's an idea of what you can do with lighting design.
Turn it red. Turn blue. It's already blue.
Weasel shock. F G E. Laser shock.
So everything you see, again, someone had to plan it. They were on that board, putting all the lights together, creating each look. So if this is something that you would be interested in, you would want to go into lighting design. Now if you didn't want to build this, all the lighting information,
Go turn red.
you could just be the one who built that giant structure. Someone's got to put all the truss up, they got to hang each light, they got to do all that stuff.
Hey.
Pretty cool.
Turn blue. Ah, man. Turn green. Turn blue. Turn blue.
That's my
Turn
red.
red. Let's go.
That's my
Turn blue.
So that video goes on for another 5 minutes.
Oh, can we watch it? Please.
We can watch a little bit more. We'll watch 1 more minute of it.
Okay,
I don't
well,
want to spend too long on it just because there's some other stuff to discuss. I know y'all have questions.
turn green. Green, green. Blue, red.
As Earth raises its frequency,
What? I don't know, man.
Voice.
activate your DNA with noise controllers.
So, that gives you an idea of what you can do with lights. All that stuff, someone's got to plan out and build.
That's Optimus Prime's voice. Optimus Prime is telling us to save the world.
Next, equipment. So, I brought a little bit of equipment that y'all can pass around because everybody likes to hold stuff in their hands. So one of the most important pieces of equipment for concerts is cable. And there's about 50 different types of cable, if not more. I only have 3 up here, but I want y'all just to see how different cables can look. So this is what's called a MIDI cable, and it's got 5 pins inside of it. So just pass that around, check it out.
What does that connect to?
So MIDI cable connects instruments like keyboards and electronic instruments to computers or DJ equipment. The MIDI cable's purpose is to transmit a certain type of information called MIDI information.
What is that cable called?
That's a 5-pin MIDI cable.
Oh, go
Now this, you may have seen.
I said
Who's seen this before?
Me.
Yeah, it's on your headphones. This is called an 8-inch jack.
Pass it!
Y'all,
Here.
there's plenty of time.
You want to rush somebody. Give it to her.
Jack, please
Y'all,
quit
there's
arguing.
plenty of time. I will not continue until we chill out.
What is that?
So an 8-inch cable plugs into your headphones usually. This is what's called an XLR. It's got 3 pins, and this is for sound. You use this for transmitting sound from your speakers to your soundboard. Pass it around. This last one is a 1/4-inch instrument cable. You use this to plug into guitars and speakers.
Let you good talk.
Y'all, it's gonna get around to everybody. Take it down. And you'll notice the other end of this cable is torn. There's nothing there. That's because if you're gonna work in this business, you need to know how to cut a cable, strip the wire, reattach a new end to the cable. So this is what the inside of a wire looks like. There's little pieces of copper in there. So part of your job, if you do this, is being able to fix cables. Send it around. So, as you pass those around, check them out. Does anyone have any questions about what I was talking about? What this job looks like in the real world? Because you saw some big ideas. what does your day-to-day life look like? Yes. So, y'all, Jacquees, I'm waiting.
Jackie, pass it.
Wait!
Y'all,
God!
do not ask another person to pass a cable. If I hear that one more time, I'm just going to go and take all the cables back. Got it? Okay. I had a question over here. Can you repeat that question loudly? Can you repeat your question? Yes.
What made you
So, I became a DJ because when I first went to college, I went to a big concert and I met a bunch of folks who were DJs and they invited me back to learn how to DJ. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And once I started doing that, I had already done some concert technician stuff and set up big events. And so I knew how to do that, and I took DJing and concert technician, and I put that together. All right, anybody else? Questions?
Hey, y'all skipped us. Y'all skipped us.
Yes, what's your question?
I can't hear his question.
Wait, hey.
Justin. Y'all be quiet.
No, we didn't. None of y'all passed it to us.
Thank you, sir.
No, they didn't.
Questions? Questions? Questions?
We haven't even got to see
All right, pass the cables back up. Pass the cables back up.
Go have a seat. Go have a seat.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. Thank you, sir. All right, if there are no other questions,
There's no reason why you should be up here.
then I am finished. This is your last chance. Going
So that's
once,
gonna be in the video.
going twice.
Not all of it. We gotta edit it.
Yes, Mason.
If I smash that, it might break. No, that's till you turn it.
So the truss
I know
is
that.
made of aluminum. Because it's got to be a strong metal that can hold the lights. So in that video that you saw with the lights, each light weighs between 50 and 100 pounds. And each light gets its own crate. They're all about this big. And you wheel them in and two people pick them up and a third person bolts them to the truss. You put 20 lights on a truss, you have 2,000 pounds hanging on a truss. And the truss itself weighs probably another 500 pounds. And then you have these chain motors that pull the truss up to the ceiling. So you need very strong chains and
make his outfit into a costume. So one of those accessories is a sword. This is a sword that lets people know that he's a knight. It is a steel blade inside a wooden scabbard covered in leather. What's the leather made from? Cows. So this is a real sword. And when he puts it on, he looks like a real knight, doesn't he? Yeah. So it's not just the sword that makes him look like a knight. It's also the belt that makes him look like a knight. It's the rings that he's got on. It's the chains and the necklaces he's got on. And it's his clothing. And his helmet. Can you put your helmet on? Yeah. Alright. Yes. Like a pirate. Yeah, I guess he's pretty radical looking.
Well, Vikings, some of the earliest pirates there were.
Do you look like a knight now?
Yes. I can see
How about now? Does he look even more like a knight now?
Yes.
So all those little details are really important. So when you're doing your schoolwork, hold on. So when you're working here at school, you have to pay attention to all those little details.
Hands off.
No, we're not gonna put the helmet on, but I'll let you guys hold the shield.
They're talking.
Can you do that? How much time do we have left?
About 5 minutes.
Okay. So we have two options here, guys. We can either line up nice and neat and quietly, and you all chance to hold his shield, or I can answer one more question.
One more question.
Okay, one more
Hold on,
question.
one or the other.
You can either look at the sword in line and the shield, or she'll answer one question but not both.
Who wants to hold the shield?
Me.
All right.
Corner of the Arab Peninsula, there's a tiny little country called Kuwait. It's between Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Iran. Now, Kuwait's tiny, and it's an average temperature of about 120 degrees. Now, I was there for about a year, and it got up to 140 while I was there. It's something like 78 today outside, so almost double what it is today, which is crazy. It's not a lot of fun. The whole country is flat desert, and I spent about a year in a flat desert fixing helicopters. Let's see. What else is really interesting about what I do? I mean, fixing helicopters is awesome. I love what I do. A lot of people don't have a job they really enjoy. I can say that I go to work every day really excited to do my job. I fix missile defense systems, radar systems, flight navigation systems. All the stuff on a helicopter that breaks, I fix it. And helicopters break a lot more than cars. Cars don't even fly. I mean, helicopters get up in the air and have to stay there for long periods of time. There's a lot of stuff to break. But it's a real fun job, and the military can give you an opportunity to do other jobs in the civilian sector, as well as paying for you to go to college, paying for you to do a lot of other things. It isn't easy, though, to be in the military. There's a lot of hard stuff you got to do. You got to stay physically fit. You got to be able to run. You got to be able to do push-ups. You got to be able to lift stuff. You got to be able to do your job. They want to make sure that you're physically fit, and they want to make sure that you're following all the rules. You know, if you commit a crime or if you do anything, then that messes up your career too. But if you're willing to make the effort, it can lead you into a lot of great things. Yeah. 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 Let's see. Again, it's not easy. It's a hard job. It's not for everybody. It's not always safe. But you get to go all over the world and learn interesting things and meet interesting people. You get to do really cool jobs. You get to work with some of the best people around. Strong, intelligent, hard-working folks. Does anyone have questions about the military? Yes.
That was the same badge my dad got.
Yeah? Is he with the 77? You know? Does he work with helicopters?
Default.
Default?
Default.
Okay.
Do you work with the clothes on? Do I fix them with the clothes?
Do I fix with this on? Yeah, this is what I wear to work. So I actually came from work. The military, you got to get up real early. I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning, and I'm at work by 6. It sucks, but it's what you got to do, you know? So I wear this to work. You don't wear the fancy uniforms or anything to work because you get them messed up. You know, think about how fancy the other Army uniforms are. You get oil on that, it's ruined. That's the worst thing. But, you know, it's a lot like mechanic work because we do a lot of mechanical stuff as well as electrical stuff. So you want to wear something that you can work in, that you can stay flexible in. I know there's more questions. Yes? Yeah? Do you know what she did? I can't hear a thing. Helicopters and grenades, my hearing's gone. You got to speak up a little bit. She was a nurse? There's a lot of medical professionals in the military. If you are trying to become a doctor, anyone want to be a doctor when they grow up?
You can be
one person. If you decide you want to, the Army can help you learn to become a doctor. They can give you entrance into medical school. You can get qualified to do all that stuff through the military. Whatever job you want to do, civilians, as a civilian not working for the military, you can get trained in that job while getting paid to learn in the military. Now, y'all may not care about that much right now because you're thinking, that's going to be easy, but I guarantee you a little bit later in life, you're going to be saying, man, how am I going to pay to learn what I want to know to do my job? Like, who wants to be an electrician? Anybody want to work with electricity? No? You don't want to get shocked?
Nope.
That's not so bad. You get shocked a few times, you're fine. What do you want to do? Hey, sorry. I don't know your name. What do you want to do when you grow up? I still can't hear. Be a YouTuber? Okay, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do in the military. The military actually works now doing unmanned drones, right? So you can learn to fly all these really cool vehicles, going out and doing surveillance, and you can work with media
computers, or your desktop computers, or laptop or Chromebooks, or anything like that. So, networking. Let's talk a little bit about this network. So, do you all understand how the internet works through your computer? Raise your hand if you understand how it works. All right, let me get this young man right here in the burgundy. Tell me how it works.
Well, you gotta type stuff in this way you looking for, turn it in the way it works.
Okay, stop right there. So what he just said was, this is how my brain functions. You have to type something in there to see where you want to go or how it works. So what that means is you're going to put a web address into the search bar. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Then you're going to hit what magic key? Enter to actually send that message. So it's kind of like you sending a letter in the post office. Have y'all written any letters? You ever send a letter or postcard to somebody that lives far away from you? So when you've done that, then it's like you're sending the address, your address, and then you're addressing it to that person, and then you're sending it. So that's kind of like sending a website to go to that particular website or web address, right? Then what's next? What happens when you get to your website you pull it up?
Oh, you go search it and try to find what you want.
Good morning. So you're searching in, and you're utilizing the links. The links are the different tabs that are highlighted. Sometimes they're blue, green, purple. You know, they may have a squiggly line. It may be a picture. So you're clicking on those links to actually access a different page, right? To send you directly to that person. Kind of like that letter you sent out. You don't want it to go to Big Mama's house if you send it to Aunt Jamie's house. I do. Because it's directly, specifically addressed to who? Aunt Jamie. Correct. So, that's what the networking does. And that's what usually happens when you're actually putting those addresses and those codes. That's a part of the software. So software is basically when you actually programs that are installed on your computer or on a server that you all are able to access. Now hardware. Does anybody know what that is?
No, we don't. The network you're on.
The network that does what?
That you're on.
That you're on. Not quite. Kind of think of it. Hardware. If I had hardware. What about you? I know it because you're quiet over here. Think about hardware. Something you use? When? So, looking at this computer here, this is what you call hardware. Hardware are the peripherals that you use. So like the keyboard, your mouse, your CD-ROM, memory, the monitor, the actual CPU, those are all called hardware. So those are things that you can actually utilize in order to convey to the computer on what you want it to do. Because the computer is basically like a small version of a robot. Can y'all see that? Yeah. Close your eyes real quick. Let's take a trip. So, think about you creating this mega robot, right? Everybody see it? You got a picture of it? You have to put in some type of software in order to give it the commands in order for it to do what you want it to do. So say for instance, open your eyes for me. Say for instance, this table here, you all created a robot in order to make cupcakes. You have to put in recipes, right? You have to put in what else? Some batter. Eggs. Flour. Sugar. Because y'all are making this robot and you're wanting this robot to make these cupcakes, right?
So that's your software. All the ingredients that you're putting in that robot, and then the commands that you're putting in there. You want to whisk, you want to break the egg, separate the yolk from the shell. You got to be able to put all those details in there in order for this robot to function correctly, right? Say, for instance, y'all were making a robot to actually create or make cars. What would you all need to put in there?
Metal. Metal to like make the car.
The metal?
Oil.
Oil?
Tires.
To make a car? Give me something good.
Oh.
Maybe a steering wheel?
Tires.
Tires?
An engine.
An engine, because guess what? Cars are like robots also. Without an engine, it's not going to work. And if y'all notice that a lot of cars now have chips and remote starts and microchips and all types of fancy stuff in there. Automatic windows. Last night, let me tell y'all what I did. I was on Facebook. Y'all know about Facebook?
Yeah.
So I was on Facebook, and they had a question out there, and they said, how old are you? I said, I'm old enough to whereas there used to be 7 people used to ride in one car. 4 of us would sit in the front, and it used to be a long bench-like seat, and when one person scoot, everybody has to scoot up. Yeah, yeah. So I'm pretty old, huh? Now you have automatic seats. You all have automatic seats. You can hit buttons on there. You can even, some cars you can even tell it to scoot me up or remember my settings.
Uber.
Y'all know that?
Oh, I know. My mom car can do that.
Yeah, see, so I mean there's some fancy stuff going on.
Some cars now, like, they're just automatic cars that you just drive for you. But it's really.
They are. They are. Those cars cost a pretty penny, don't they? So, say for instance you all were building a robot, and you all's robot was to build buildings. What would you need? What type of software would you need? Wood? Huh? You're making a building. Think about
A door.
this. You would need doors. Those would be
window.
some more supplies like stairs, stone. So those are materials that you will need. Now, what about the different type of programs or commands you would give this robot? You want the robot to do what? You don't want it to just stand there with all these materials, so you would have to make it or tell it to do what? Pick up, lift, turn around, drill, hammer. Would all those things make sense? Say for instance, you all were making, your robot was making clothes. Sorry, I got a little dry. What would you need to tell your robot to do? What type of software would you put in your robot? Yeah. Measuring cloth? Good answer. You need cloth to make clothes, right? And what type of cloth's gonna go with what type of pattern? Yeah? What else? I know you got a good one. I can feel it. What do you need to make clothes? Sewing machine? What, about a needle and a thread or something? Yarn? Making pillows? You hear all that? Kind of, sort of. What if y'all were making? Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? This is real big. If y'all were making toys, what would you need? Plastic.
Metal.
What else? Metal. Paint.
Button. Butter. Who said button? A button is like
You would need some type of flexi bendy rubber material. Good job, y'all. Good job. What about y'all's robot? What would y'all like to make? What about those cool gimbals in that chair y'all sitting in? Wouldn't that be awesome? A gaming system. All these things are networking. You see how one connects to the other in order to produce it or make it? So that's why networking is so important. Now you have various types of networks. So you have networks that include servers. You have person-to-person networking. Like if you're networking, you may hear some adults saying networking with my friends or my church members or my softball or basketball or football players. That just means that they are talking or communicating with somebody in that particular area. Kind of like with computers. They're talking directly to the server in order to get a message to the computer, in order for you to be able to process the information. Got questions? You need buttons on your shirt? That is so true. So y'all kind of got an idea of what I do? So we talked about networking. What else? Talked about what? We talked about robots. What else have we talked about? Software. Making software. Hardware. We talked about fabrics. And buildings. Y'all have this all covered. I mean, y'all are like geniuses. Early in the morning. Y'all ate breakfast this morning?
Nope.
Y'all did? Y'all did?
That's it.
Guess what? Guess what? Computers don't eat breakfast either in the morning. You know what they do? They have this cool little thing called a microbite. Yes. So it's
I
a
know
chip.
that is.
It's a little chip. I don't have one to show you all, but it's a little chip that has all of these instructions on what they need to do, how they need to do it, when they need to do it. If this happens, then they need to do it some other way. If this happens, then they need to do it another way. That's what they have for breakfast, dinner, and lunch, and snack. So this is what they run on all day long. Now, what do you think controls or help these computers to run? Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is for laptops and devices like that. But what else do you think it needs? Because even Wi-Fi needs something. Software. That's kind of what's on that microchips. Looking for something else. Cartridges? No, not really.
Security was like unit.
Oh my goodness, y'all are so deep. Y'all are so deep. What do you think I would need or you would need to run your cell phone?
Tyson.
A charger. But what is the charger connected to? A plug-in, but it's electricity. So guess what? If you don't charge your brain, you're not able to charge your body. It's just like with the computers. You won't be able to charge the computer to get the software out. So you have to have electricity. So make sure in the morning y'all eat your breakfast so that your brains and bodies can be fully charged. Make sense? Kind of. A snack. A Pop-Tart. A piece of fruit. Something. Alright? So did y'all learn something new today?
Yes.
Y'all kind of know what network specialist is now? How many people would like to be a network specialist? I'm just
That is
curious.
already.
Your dad is? How sweet is that? Where does he work?
ABC.
ABC? Okay. Okay, good deal. ABC Financial. So I got one student. That's all I have? What about programmers? Those are the people who actually put the software into the computers. Web designers? None of that? Nobody's interested in computers? Well, whatever you all choose to do, I hope that your career is something that is enjoyable and it's something that you all like to do. And make sure that you put forth the effort to actually research what you think you like to do. To be honest, this is real quick. To be honest, y'all wouldn't believe that I really wanted to be a veterinarian. Y'all know what that is?
Yes.
No, that's a vegetarian. Yeah.
Then they're gonna take care of the
Thank you. You know what deterred me from that?
low.
What do you think? What do you think I'm afraid of?
Animals.
Not all animals.
Spiders.
Snakes. So when I learned that you actually have to work on snakes, it took me through a whole completely different career path. And I ended up teaching, and then I ended up becoming a network specialist. So whatever it is, make sure you don't let anything to deter you from being the best person you can be, no matter what it is, okay? All right? Y'all do your best, okay? Y'all have a good day. It was a pleasure speaking with you all.
My name's James. I work at a video game company called Activision, and we do a lot of games. We work on Call of Duty. We work on Skylanders and other games called Destiny, and we also do mobile games. And what I do at Activision is I work on characters. And today, I'm going to show you a little bit of how we do characters at Activision, and kind of take you through the process and from start to finish really quickly, so you can kind of get an idea of any of those video games you were playing on your Xbox or your PlayStation or your telephone, kind of how they're made. So what I'll do is I'll kind of switch my screen here to show you what we're doing. And let me know, hey Peggy, let me know if you see
Yeah, we
if
see
it
it.
switches over.
Yeah.
Move the screen out the way. We can't
Oh.
see the other people.
What do you
Do I
see
need to move the?
All we see is Wolverine.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna move this Skype.
Is that Batman
Let me
or Black
lower
Panther?
the sky.
Why would that be Batman? No, it's because it's two heads right there. Yeah, but and I think that's Black Panther.
Okay, there we go.
I think that's the steps to make it look like it.
Wait, but then what's number 1 and number 2? That's the steps.
Number 1, number 2, number
That's
1.
how it
It's
looks
the
like.
style.
That's how it looks like, and that's how it develops.
That's how
Are you there?
And one looks like this.
Okay.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Can you kind of see what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh my! It's a
Do you guys see the Wolverine character right now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So I'm going to talk about 4 major parts of making a character in games. And I'm going to be using this guy here that I made a while ago. It's Wolverine that I made. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with Wolverine. He's been in a lot of movies and video games. And I'm going to take you through the steps of kind of how to do it, and you can kind of see how it's made. And so what we do in video games is, with video games, all the characters are in 3D. And so the way we do it, the way we make them is the very first thing we start with is this thing you see here, which is a cube. And the cube is made of this very basic element called a polygon. And if any of you have ever worked with a program called SketchUp, it's very similar. And polygons are kind of the building blocks for any characters that you see in any game you play on your phone, on your tablet, on your Xbox. And so a polygon is just simply a 4-sided square, and you can take that 4-sided square and make it into really anything. You just have to have enough of them. So when we make characters, we always start with just that one polygon, and we build it out to make the full character. So we will usually start with what you see here is just a cube, and with the cube, you can start to really divide it up and make it into smaller cubes. And the program I'm using here allows me to do that really easily. So with this cube, I can quickly start to slice it up and make it into smaller cubes here. So now you see it's just turned into a bunch of smaller cubes. And when I do that, I'm able to start to grab parts of the cube and start to move it around. So you can see now it's no longer a cube, it's got kind of a roof shape. I can grab these edges on the cube and move it up. Really simple stuff, but this is how we construct everything for characters in games. We also use, this is how we construct everything for trees or buildings, monsters, and anything you see at all is how we do it. And so when we've taken that cube, we can start to kind of get a rough block out of our character here. And so you can kind of see I'm starting to build the arms, the head, the torso, and the legs. And just like with this cube here, I can start to add more divisions and shrink things down, start to kind of, if I want to make the wrist, I can do that. And I can start to build the shoulder out more. And if I want to get the torso to start showing up better, I can add a little edge here and bring it out. And that's really how it all starts out. Really rough, really basic, but you're sort of working from scratch and detailing it out as you go. And so if I worked on this for a while longer, I would begin to get something a little bit more detailed like you see here. And you can kind of start to see that I've connected the arm over to the torso. I've started to shape the head better. And it's really using all the same tools that I was showing you here. I'm just adding more edges and more polygons that I mentioned. I'm getting the feet to look kind of like the way I want. And the best way to look at this is this is going to serve as kind of our canvas to end up making this guy over here next to him. And to really get all the shapes and the details you want, we can't do everything inside this program. So what we have to do is switch to another program that we use to make characters, and it's more like sculpting in clay. If you've ever used clay, it's really the same concept. So what I'll do is I'm gonna switch my screen over, and hopefully you should see a different screen now. Okay, so now we see that same character over on this screen. And again, when I zoom in, you can kind of see he's made up of those same little squares that we've always been looking at. We started out with that one little polygon and we build them out. But what we can do in this program is we can start to, we can do what we call sculpting. And so in sculpting, it's a little bit more fun. We take those polygons and we start to subdivide them. And subdividing is where we basically take the polygons and we make them smaller and smaller and smaller so that we can sculpt on them and get all the detail we want. And so now that I've made those polygons smaller, I am able to take them and start to sculpt them. And the cube is just the cube or the character. He's just made it up. Again, that same simple polygon. That's all they're made of. And we're just taking those and we're making a whole bunch of them and sculpting and shaping and making those characters. I think that about covers it. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. Come up here and ask it one at a time.
They'll probably have to come up close to the screen.
Okay. So you ask the question. Go ahead.
Hello. Oh, the claws? We can do that. This guy, they don't go in and out, but if they were, we would probably grab those polygons that I talked about and just shrink them all the way in, kind of like that. Scale it right in like that. And just keep the process on the other side too.
Okay. Okay, Devin wants to ask you a question.
Sure. Yes. Yes, I did. I did work on Black Ops 4. And the way we do all the characters on Black Ops 4 is exactly the same way that you're seeing here with Wolverine.
Okay, next. You have a question?
Did you make the characters on Fortnite?
No, I did not. No, I did not. I did not work on Fortnite.
What type of technology do you use for when you use this on the games?
What kind of technology for the people in the game?
What kind of software did you use?
So that's a good question. It's mainly the software. I can give them a big arm, give them a smaller arm, give them small wrists. I can kind of go in there and carve in parts of them that I want.
That's cool.
So you can kind of see his muscles are starting to get formed. And it's really fun. This part of the process is really fun. You can kind of start to visualize everything you want really quickly. And so, same thing with the face. If I want to go in there and start to give them a nice, brow line, give them some eyeballs. You can do it all really quickly. I wanted to kind of go over here and bring his nose out. Grab his nose and bring him down. And you can get really detailed. You can kind of go in with a small brush and start to carve in part of his face. If you wanted to get the mouth there. Get it all sort of grouped in. So that's how we add all those details you see on those characters in those games you play. We're just sculpting them just like you would sculpt with clay. It's not very technical. It's a lot more fun. You're able to have a lot of fun with it and kind of make it the way you want. And so in this phase, it can take this is probably the longest part of the whole process because you have to really spend a lot of time at all the muscular details. So over here you can kind of get that part of the arm in. You can grab the move tool and if I wanted to bring this part of his head out, bring that part out. I wanted to bring his stomach out a little bit. You have to bring the stomach out. You can really do anything you want. Like that. And so once we're done with that part, they'll end up looking something like this. This is kind of the finished result of a lot of hours of work. But you can see in here, it's just using all those tools I was talking about to kind of go in and
One of them wanted to ask you a question.
His mouth has been sculpted in. And then made his eyes. Same thing, you can always take those tools and make the, you can also add color. Nice process, so once you've done all the sculpting, you can add the color and turn that off for a second. That's all there really is to it. It's just a matter of taking the time to sculpt that clay and get it the way you want. If I wanted to kind of bring his elbow out, you can kind of stretch the elbow just like you would clay. And that's really how all those aspects work. I wanted to remove some of the hard edges there, I can go in and smooth that all out, or I can undo it. And so the sculpting part, that can be the most fun, it's the most time consuming. Once you're done with all the sculpting, you can go in and start to color him. And coloring is kind of the same way that you color him in Photoshop. You're just grabbing a yellow brush or a blue brush and just adding that color right on top. And so once we're done with all the sculpting, since this guy is so detailed and he's really very high resolution character, we can't put him in the onto the Xbox right away. We have to do some tricks to sort of make him look good on the Xbox without making the Xbox slow down and sort of wonder why you've just put this really crazy high resolution sculpture in there. So going back to our other program.
That was so slow.
Jump over.
How long does it take you to make one character?
This guy probably takes about 2 weeks.
Oh.
Oh, going back to this guy. So going back to this guy, you can see all the detail that we were doing in the sculpting program showing up here. But we have to do a few things to get all that sculpture detail to transfer over. And one of the first things we have to do is we have to tell the computer, hey computer, I'm going to give you a map, kind of like a geography map, where I take this guy and I flatten him out completely, so that you have a map of knowing where all the color and where all his muscle details are and everything. And so we literally take this guy's body and we flatten him completely, just like if like a steamroller ran over him. And so we have another program here where you can see where that's done. And so
this fat.
You're looking at this right now. He is completely flattened. And you
Color
can see
fat.
there's his arms, his face, there's his legs, there's his belt right there on the side. And what that does is it tells the computer, it gives it kind of a series of coordinates of where the character is to be painted. And the other thing we have to do is we have to take that sculpture we did, and we have to have the computer use a lot of math, and it creates an image, and that image is what we call a normal map. And so what the normal map is an image that stores all the sculptural information that I made, that you saw earlier where we were having fun and just sculpting. It stores that all into an image so that the computer can display all that detail onto a really simple model. And by model I mean this guy. So you can see that if I, oh sorry, hold on one second. You can see that this guy, he doesn't really have any detail on him. And that's because in order for the Xbox to play with this guy and see him running around and everything, we have to use that normal map to display it. So you can kind of see here, this is just the normal map showing up, and that's allowing a lot of that fake detail to show up on this really simple model. Kind of a hard kind of a hard concept to understand, but any game you're playing on your phone or your Xbox or your computer, that's how everything is made, is with having this normal map on these really simple models. And so, going back to the other program, now that we have our normal map, we can start to bring that color over, and we can also start to add, grunge, so skin color, add the all the little highlights and everything you can see on his body, and we do it the same way that we work in Photoshop. You guys have ever used Photoshop? It's all kind of the same thing. We have layers, so we can turn all that off. You can go in and add these little highlights here, and that's how we make this texture. And the texture part is probably the easiest part because the computer kind of helps me make everything really fast. But once we've got all that done, we still have a problem with this guy, which is he can't move. So we have to figure out a way to make him move around and run around. So let's turn all this part off. 40. Can't move yet. So what we have to do is we have to create a skeleton for this guy so that he has a skeleton which will allow him to move. And so we create a skeleton right underneath. And after we've kind of fitted the skeleton inside his body, we take those polygons that I talked about before, and we attach those polygons to the skeleton itself. And so once we have that skeleton and the polygons attached, we can then take the skeleton, and when we move it, it allows his arm to start moving around. And then if you have an animator on your team, the animator can take that skeleton and he can start doing lots of fun things with the guy. So he can start to really move his arms around and lift his legs up and move his head, move his torso forward. And let me just see if I can put some kind of fun animations for you guys. Let's see. Here is animation. So this is the guy Wolverine walking around. Again, that's the skeleton underneath his body doing all the work.
Wow.
Got a very cool move going on. What else we got here? Do an attack move. So you can see he's swiping his claws. Really fun. We can always go back to his regular pose. And so that is.
You spend $20? Okay. You spend it on a want or you spend it on a need? On a want? Okay. That's good. That means you have $80 left to either share with somebody else, to spend on a need, and to save. So that's good. It's really good. What you got? 90 to your wants. That's a lot. That's a lot to your wants. You only got $10 left. What happens if you need to have a medical checkup and you only got $10 left? So what we are doing essentially is creating a what? What was that word I used earlier? It's a type of plan. It's a type of plan. It starts with a B.
Budget?
Budget, that's right. We are creating a budget. And a budget is a plan for our money. Like we said, we have to plan out our time. Planning out our time is called a schedule. So everything we do in life has to be planned. You know, how many people in here play sports? Everybody plays sports. There's a plan to how much time you're going to use, who's going to come in at the right time, who's going to come out at the right time. Everything is planned. I'm going to pass out a few more of these things. You guys are doing really well. Very good, very good. People like to write. We got a little journal here. Our journal's about to switch it up a little bit. With your water bottle. You like to write? Got you a journal there. Got you a pen. All right. Now, what's in these boxes right here? These white boxes. Somebody wants to open it up real quick and see what's in it. If you got one, go ahead and open it. It's a flat right over here. On this side. Pull it up. All right. That right there is a piggy bank. So, what I want everybody to do, if you have one at home already, or if I got a couple in here I can pass out, if you get a piggy bank, put all your money in there. If you got spare change, if you got dollars, quarters, cents, dimes, anything you got, put it in there. And once that gets full, take it all out, count it, and see how much you got. And then divide it up into how much you want to share, how much you want to spend, how much you want to save, and then of course your wants and your needs. Okay? Does anybody know about checking accounts, savings accounts? Somebody mentioned it earlier. You know about savings accounts? Okay. What's the primary role of a savings account? Getting some money, keep it in the bank. That's right. That's right. What about a checking account? What's that? Sort of. You definitely want to see how much money you have in the account. So you got a checking account, which is basically your spending money. It's what it's going to be geared towards, spending money. So whether you're spending it for a want, spending it for a need, that's what you're going to be used to spending money, to spend money. Your savings account is just that. It's a place where you put money so you can save it, whether you're saving for a specific goal. So whenever you say there's something that you want to buy, let's say there's a video game. This video game right here, this game is $60, and you get an allowance of $20 a week. You have to save your $20 in order to get enough to get that video game. So the place to put it is in a savings account. And you all may not have a savings account just yet, you're a little young, that's fine. But you can always save with whether a piggy bank, put it in a shoebox, that's what I used to do, put my money in the shoebox, put it in the closet, and I just like to watch it stack up. Put my money in there, put more money in there, put more money in it, and it will grow, get bigger and bigger and bigger. How many of y'all have seen, maybe on TV or a movie or anything like that, big old stack of money, wad of cash? Oh, you like that, see? See? It takes a while to get that money saved up to have a big stack of cash, a wad of cash, so you can buy a house or buy a car or help your parents with bills. All of y'all gave great examples of what you want to do with money. But of course, you always need to create a budget. So keep these little sheets right here and keep them in mind. You can take them home, you can share with your parents and say, hey, I kind of created a little bit of a budget, and see what they think about your budget. You got a question? How do you take the money out of a piggy bank? Out of this one here, you don't have to necessarily smash it. It's seamed there, so you can kind of pull it apart at some point. So it's possible, but you know, every piggy bank is different. Some you may have to smash. Some it's got a hole in the bottom. So it just depends. What's up?
Is it a hole in the bottom that you got?
I think this one has a seam on it. Let's take it. So yeah, this one has a hole on the bottom also. So of course, you got a slot right there. Put all your coins and fold up your money, your dollars and everything. And then at the end, you twist it off. And that's how you get your money. And that way you don't have to break it. Once you take all your money out, save it, spend it, whatever it is that you want to do with it, you can use it again. Who's got any questions about it? Go ahead.
How do you put the money up in the piggy bank?
What's that?
How do you put the money, the paper dollars in the piggy bank?
Just fold it up. So you fold it up small enough to where it'll slide in. So, you know, if you've got $1, you want to fold it the long way. Fold it once, and then probably fold it twice, and then you can put it in there. You got another question?
Do you spend your money on shoes and clothes?
Sometimes, because sometimes it's a need, sometimes it's a want. For the most part, it's a need, because as you get older, you naturally buy. Of course, you guys right now, you get older, you grow, so you grow out of old clothes, you have to buy new clothes. As an adult, you probably don't grow a whole lot anymore, so you can wear some of the same clothes that you've been wearing over the past little while. So most of your clothes that you buy are going to be wants. So I don't spend a whole lot of money on clothes, but I spend some money. Now I'm going to give you guys one little tidbit here to take with you. It's another option that you can do with your money. We haven't really talked about it this one. We're not going to talk about it a whole lot, but just briefly. Another thing you can do with your money, I know you got saving, you got spending, you got sharing. Another one is called investing. Anybody know what that word may mean at all? Have a clue? Idea? Not exactly. Not exactly. You pretty close. You are right there. You are right there. Go ahead. I'm not sure. They should be able to give you 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, 100s. It just depends on how much you're getting out. But investing is another way to save. Investing is putting your money in either an account or you purchasing a part of a company. You can buy a piece of a company. And after a while, that gives you a return, which basically says, let's give you an example. I've got $100 and I invested into Walmart. Let's say at the end of a year, my $100 has now grown to $110. Yeah, see? I didn't do a whole lot. All I did was I put my $100 in a place that could make me money. That's what investing does. That's its sole intent. Just put it in somewhere where your money can work for you. So you put your money in an account, and you can buy a certain part of a company, piece of a company, whatever it is, and your money can grow. So that way at the end of the year, you'll have even more money that you put in. It's a really simple and easy way to grow your money. That way you can have more money to save, spend, or share.
Come on.